because Penn State, I mean, they go down to the Plains and they put the paws on Auburn.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, they brought the mud hole stomper boots down there to Jordan Hare.
Yeah, worst loss.
That's all they did.
Worst loss since 1984. Were either of you born then? I know I was.
I mean, I was, yeah.
You were in 80. You're probably in 84, Max. I feel like.
No, I was 82. I'm 82, man.
Okay. 81.
Yeah.
I'm 84. I'm 84.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, knowing you, fella, you probably watched that game like literally as quickly as you could.
In the hospital room.
You totally. Your love for football started early, but that was an absolute dominant performance. To your point, to go down there and do that. There's this whole argument, I think, sometimes that happens over like gritty win, ugly win, gritty loss, ugly loss. And I feel like certain leagues, and I'm biased because I'm out on the West Coast, I feel like it's never a gritty win. It's always like an ugly win out here. But I feel like sometimes we don't give enough credit to the team that wins.
Yeah.
Right. And there could be a world where it's like, Auburn just didn't show up. Or there could be a world of like, hey, like Penn State is not just about one of the dopest home environments in a whiteout in the history of college football. Like, absolutely. Sean Clifford's back for a reason. Like this team.
Hang on. This game was in Auburn.
Exactly.
On the Plains. Against a ranked team, against the ranked team, against the team or a team that was soon to be ranked, if depending on what you follow. For an Auburn team that needed a win coming off, what was it, the San Jose State game, where they did not look good.
Brent Brennan.
So you're going to sit here and tell me that they didn't show. So you didn't show up at home? At home is where you're supposed to be. That's where you are. You don't even have to show up. That's where you live.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny. I almost did a toast to the Auburn search firm for saving Brian Harson's job because they didn't have an AD yet. Listen, Gus got fired for less. So, hey, thank you, search firm. I'm sure Brian Harson's like, no, keep going. I need to get through this season first. But yeah, it was embarrassing. I mean, you have nothing you got rid of Bo Nix. Right? Because he wasn't, and you replaced it with what exactly?
TJ Finley is still there. Zach Calzada, who you brought over from A&M, and then he's the third string guy, apparently. And the other, like, I don't know, like we've been like speaking specifically to you, Yogi, like we've seen Finley, right? We saw him in high school.
Yep.
Saw Calzada. We saw and we also saw Owen Papo when he was in, and you spent way more time with the quarterbacks than I did. I was also watching the linebackers. Owen Papo's amazing. And you can't figure out how to use any of these pieces to create a problem.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like you look at Bo, and you referenced earlier, I wrote a book called 5-Star QB that came out a couple weeks ago. Bo's in it. I interviewed 54 of the top quarterbacks who ever came out of high school. And Bo talked about his experience there. You know, Bo left as the starter.
Yep.
Bo was just like, dude, I went here. My dad played here. I was a legacy.
Robbie Ashford is who I couldn't remember.
From Oregon. Yep. Robbie Ashford, gifted, freaky, dual sport athlete.
Yep.
But my point is that, like, I do think there's something that has happened in the world in certain regions in the country in football that is only getting amplified with NIL, which is like dramatic expectation that isn't necessarily near reality, which is cool. What I wonder about is like when performance happens and you meet a big game and you begin to get bullied, you begin to recognize like, dude, I don't know. I wonder what teams are like in these environments now moving forward of like, yeah, let's bounce back. No problem. We got this. Or like, oh boy. And you shrink and you shrink and you shrink. And there's so many other things going on. Like, I think it's hard, right? And that's why it'll be fun to watch not only Penn State this week coming up, but Auburn against Missouri. What is it? Missouri, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss.
Yep. Missouri, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, the next three. And then Auburn's got CMU, Northwestern, and but they in that 3-week stretch with Michigan. Penn State does.
We're dropping our merch.
We got to start calling Underwood Daddy Brad.
But I'm a big pod guy.
Breaking news. The Field of 68 has an online store, and it's your one-stop shop for the latest and greatest merch in college basketball and college football. You can find shirts to support your favorite team, make fun of your rival team, or boast Field of 68 catchphrases like Daddy Brad, Cussin' and Discussin', and the Star Heels. Go to www.fieldof68.shop today and enter promo code touchdown for 20% off at checkout.
Yeah.
But Sean Clifford was also a part of. Sean Clifford's the guy we spent time with.
Totally. Sean's awesome. And I love Sean.
I love him too.
Sean and Bo are very similar to me in terms of like career expectations, didn't meet it. Bo went and found a new home. Sean was like, I'm coming back for 6. And I bet there's a big contingent of Penn State fans that were like,
yes,
yeah, I don't know.
We should have had Levis.
Well, they had the number 1 quarterback in America signed a year ago too, who's a freshman there now. And I love what Sean's done because Sean is a great example, again, kind of like Caleb on the West Coast, like a great example of a young man who's a quarterback using their platform to elevate. Dude started an agency, hasn't let it affect his play on the field. He's become a catalyst in the locker room. It's only elevated his play on the field. Like, I think Penn State is real. We just got done talking about Michigan. Like, what do you think? Do you think Penn State is one of those teams that will fall off mid-October when they have a Michigan and Ohio State on Halloween night?
Max, you want to go first? Or you want me to take it?
You take it first because I already know my feelings, but I want to make sure if you have some positivity to glean, I want you to get it out there.
I have a hard time thinking that they're going to be better defensively than they were a season ago. Yeah. And that's what gives me pause because a year ago they had Jaquan Brisker, right? They had guys to borrow the parlance from the old BC coach. What's his name? They had guys being dudes. And I don't know how much better they're going to get over the course of the season without Jahan Dotson on the offensive side and Brisker on the defensive side. So I think what they're doing is capitalizing and they're making plays. I think they're really well coached though. Yeah. And that's the part I get. And you know what? I think I just talked myself back around the way.
I was wondering. I was
overreaction Monday.
Back into it.
I think they're really well coached. And if you make a mistake, here's what I will say. Penn State, Wisconsin, Iowa, I think Wake Forest fits into this camp. I think, with the exception of the referees, maybe Cal fits into this camp. You're going to have to beat them because they won't lose to you.
Yeah, put Oregon State in that. Yeah,
Oregon State as well. And by the way, Oregon State, how crazy explosive are they?
Yeah, we're going to get to them for sure.
But they won't lose. So, no, you know what? I think Penn State's
Penn
for
State.
real.
All right, Max bring us back to your reality.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. But I think for the reasons you listed before, I'm not sure defensively I trust where they're at versus the offensive production of the other two teams, Ohio State and Michigan.
Yes.
The Big Ten. That's
Agreed.
where I have my question. And can I really trust 2 freshman running backs to really be the catalyst in the backfield? Yes, they did great. And always early in the year, you're going to see that, especially from the running back position.
Yes.
But once you start taking those hits as an 18-year-old, and you start seeing the 21, the 22, and we have super seniors, we got some 23-year-olds, right? And they start putting some hits on you. And especially in the Big Ten, where that weather changes mid-October to November,
you have to carry the ball a lot more.
Because Sean Clifford's not going to pass it through the air that much. That's where I kind of worry about Penn State. I think they're great right now, and you're going to get a test within the next 30 days. That's going to give you the measuring stick, test the weather out there. But I don't know if I can fully buy into it because I've seen this so many times where it's built up and it comes crashing down, with just one little move. And having that youth in the backfield is good, but I don't know if that plays in their favor later in the year.
Okay, real quick, both of your answers. They go to Michigan, and then have
Yes.
Minnesota and Ohio State at home 3 straight weeks. Color, what's the record after those 3 games? Just among those 3 games, they go 3-0, 0-3.
So they're 3-0, 3-0 right now. They'll beat Central Michigan. They'll beat Northwestern. So it's 5-0.
Top
You know
5.
what? They beat Michigan. They lose to Ohio State. They beat Minnesota. One
Wow.
loss team.
Okay. All right, Max, what do you think?
The only we're one. What are we? One loss off?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're one
we're
loss off.
recording.
I mean, that's really what it is. At Michigan, correct?
It's at
At
Michigan.
Michigan, and then the other 2 at home.
Other 2 at home. Well, Ohio State doesn't matter where they play. But Michigan in the big house. It's going to be a primetime game.
Mhm.
I was actually trying to get that game, by the way, but I was mad. I'm not going to get that one because I'm like, oh, I could do that one. But I like Michigan. I like Michigan, so I'm sticking with them. I like JJ McCarthy. So they go 1-2 on that 3-game stretch, but it's still 2 losses because I think they win the rest of them. They beat Minnesota, like you said, Northwestern. Yeah, they're gonna be at that 6-2 or 7-2.
I mean, Northwestern is the definition of Reggie Miller, basically.
Reggie Miller. How about Steve Miller?
Oh. So just a little note before we move on. Minnesota plays
Percy
Illinois.
Miller. How about that? The other Master P.
Hey, Minnesota plays Illinois prior to playing at Penn State. Ohio State plays Iowa at home prior to going to Penn State. I think this is the part of the season where that stuff kind of matters. It'll be interesting to see. I could see him beating the 2 big dogs and losing to Minnesota. I could see it happening, especially in the big house. And I'm not a Penn. I mean, I went to Pitt, but I'm a big fan of their head coach and Sean.
I thought this was an Iowa question because I was like, I'm still amazed that they scored 27 points against Nevada.
Oh yeah. I couldn't agree more.
What's going on, guys? Rob Doster here, the founder of the Field of 68 and the Field of 12 Media Networks. I wanted to take a quick minute to let you guys know about an exciting new project that we have been working on for the last 3 months. The Almanac, an all-encompassing preview of the 2022-23 college basketball season. We spoke with every single Division I head coach to give you a robust and accurate preview for all 363 Division I college basketball teams. We have predictions for conference finishes for all 32 leagues. We have features on the best freshmen, the best big men, the breakout stars, the coaches on the hot seat, so much more. It is 600,000 words of sheer happiness for the college basketball fan in your life. The Almanac is going to be available for digital purchase on September 26th for just $19.99, but you can pre-order it today using the promo code HOOPS and save 20%. Just hit the link in the description below.